Hi students, this lecture is on transitions and will help you in writing essay 1. Transitions are the words that help you move from one idea to the next, and they're a good way to move from, say, evidence to analysis. On this page I've provided the PowerPoint lecture for this video as well as a printable list of transitions. I'm going to download that now and show you what that looks like so that you know you don't have to get those transitions off the PowerPoint. You can get them here in this printable list, okay? So the transitions you see in the PowerPoint are also here on this printable list. If you go down the page, you can see we define transitions, we give you some videos and some examples. That list appears again and talks about some other ways to transition. All right, let's begin with our lecture. I'm going to download it here. Open it in my window. And we're talking about transitions, moving from one idea to another. One idea to another. All right, so when do we use transitions? Transitioning from one sentence to another can be achieved in 3 different ways. We can use transitional words, probably the easiest way to transition. We can use synonyms, and we can use transitional sentences. Okay, let's look at those 3 methods now. First, let's look at transitional words. No, First, let's look at how transitions work. Take a look at this example. It says, take the following 2 sentences. Horses are awesome. Dogs are very cool. So when these 2 ideas are next to each other right in a body paragraph, you risk losing your audience, right? They're starting with the idea, oh, horses are awesome, yes. And then it jumps awkwardly and without explanation to dogs. So horses to dogs. It's an awkward transition, all right? Here, your audience doesn't understand what horses and dogs have to do with each other. The sentences are jumpy or have an awkward transition. So one way to fix this is to use transitional words. Take a look at this example. Horses are awesome. Moreover, comma, dogs are very cool. Here, the transitional word moreover tells us that the next idea can be thought of as another example of the first. And now the ideas are connected. Here are some transitions here. Again, those are also available in your printed list, but let me read them to you. You'll notice that transitions have different meanings. So for example, these words all mean in addition. Moreover, in addition, also, furthermore. These transitions mean results or indicate one idea is the result of another. Thus, hence, therefore, accordingly, thereupon, as a result, as a consequence. Again, these are all in that printable list. You will notice too that some transitions, like moreover, are just 2 words, more and over, shoved together with no space. But some of them are 2 words or 3 words, and the spaces still appear. So you do have to spend some time memorizing which transitions are shoved together and which transitions are 2 words, are left as 2 words. These transitions mean an example, for instance, to illustrate, for example, namely, specifically. These mean explanation, in other words, simply stated, in fact. These words indicate a summary or conclusion, in closing, to conclude, to summarize, in brief, in short, in summary, to sum up. And these transitions indicate time, and please only use these to indicate time. You may have been taught in the past to use them to indicate an order in an essay, but these other academic transitions work more. So now you're just going to use these time transitions to actually indicate the passage of time. First, second, next, then, meanwhile, at length. And lastly, comparison, likewise in the same way, in comparison, similarly, and a contrast or alternative. However, nonetheless, look at that, nonetheless. It's 3 words, the less shoved together, no spaces. But in contrast, 2 words, not shoved together. It makes very, very little logical sense. It's something you just have to memorize, okay? Still, in contrast, otherwise, on the other hand, notwithstanding, and conversely. There are even more transitions, but that's a good list to get you started. Next, I want to talk about the danger of something called conjunctions. Now, conjunctions are a special type of transition. They are indeed a transition, okay, a conjunctive transition, and there are 7, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so, but they are different than the transitions we just looked at. A good way to remember conjunctions is the acronym FANBOYS, F for, A for and, N for nor, B, boys for but, O for or, Y for yet, and S for so. These transitions, these conjunctive transitions, are different. Their job is to join 2 things in one sentence. Okay, 2 things in one sentence. And so though you'll often see conjunctions beginning sentences, it's not necessarily considered academic tone. So I suggest you use conjunctions only to join 2 ideas together in the same sentence. Again, it is becoming common to begin sentences with conjunctions, but technically it's grammatically incorrect. If you're tempted to begin a sentence with a conjunction, try an alternative transition with the same meaning. Here's an example. Horses are nice and dogs are cool versus horses are nice, additionally, dogs are cool. You can see that one change from and to additionally improves academic tone. It just sounds smarter, right? It's not smarter, it just sounds that way, okay? So get in the habit of doing that with your rough drafts, changing those conjunctions that begin your sentence to the transition. So if your sentence begins with the conjunction for, try these transitions instead, or make sure these are the transitions you're using. For example, for instance, if your sentence begins with and, instead try indeed, in addition, moreover, furthermore. If your sentence begins with nor, there's not really a substitute, try rewriting the sentence. If your sentence begins with but, try however, nevertheless, on the other hand. If your sentence begins with so, try therefore, thus, consequently, as a result. If your sentence begins with yet or, try even so, however, nevertheless, on the other hand, or otherwise. Those are all good substitutes. All right, the next way to transition is to use something called synonyms, or a word that means the same as. So use synonyms to repeat key words. So here's an example. People are evil, they do bad things. So evil and bad are synonyms. And we're using that synonym to transition from one idea to another. So in the above example, the synonym of evil, bad, allows a nice transition from one sentence to the next. All right, the last way to transition is to use actual sentences to transition between paragraphs. So here's an example. Imagine there's a paragraph about dogs up here. I didn't write it, I'm just asking you to imagine it. And then you have a paragraph about horses. You can include a sentence between them, usually at the end of the first paragraph, that connects those ideas. So take a look at this. This sentence mentions both dogs and horses and talk about how they're related. People consider dogs to be very intelligent, but science has shown horses are even more intelligent. All right, so in the previous example, the first part of the sentence, people consider dogs to be very intelligent, reflects the previous paragraph, and the second part of the sentence, science has always shown horses are even more intelligent, reflects the coming paragraph. You can use this method as your concluding sentence in a body paragraph as a way to transition to the next paragraph. But you certainly don't have to, that's just an option for you. All right, everybody, that's the end. Have a great day.